Should we start right away with the learning or with the Pada B'Shalom? Learning. Okay. There's a beautiful story. It's kedai to start with a fort to Chassidische Fabringen, and yesterday with Fabring, we know that there was once actually Tofresh Samach Ekvias like this year, where the Rebbe Rashab said that when we make a Fabringen at the Yom Elul of Tzadik, that's like riding a pan. And learning the Torah of the Balei Lula is also like riding a pan. The Rebbe said, if the Mittler Rebbe came here today, who wouldn't want to ride a pan to go in and give him a pan? Wow. So by Fabringing together, that's like riding a pan. So first thing we want to make l'chaim. So this will be a Fabringen, a continuation for the Shabbos Fabringen, which Baruch Hashem was very nice.
Was there a question if the movement of the Chabad movement was as strong as it was with the Rebbe before? It was not as big as strong as the Rebbe created it over time.
I think it was ups and downs. There were ups and downs.
It's interesting.
Ups and downs.
Yeah. Somebody asked me yesterday, he thinks that the Satmar Chassidus is a bit, still bigger than the Chabad in the world.
Worldwide
Could be.
Worldwide. Satmar Chassidus is still bigger.
The truth is that the richest Chassidus.
That's for sure. L'chaim.
Some of them are becoming Lubavicheer, so I don't know.
L'chaim Livrocha. The Rebbe shall helfen the taka this pidya nefesh that we're all giving, and by making this Fabringen, the connection to the Yom HaElul V'Istalkus and the Yom HaLedes, and also today in the Chag HaGeula, that we should take a feel that we're standing close to the Mittler Rebbe. And the Rebbe says, even though we have a tzaddikim, we have tzaddikim that are closer to us. The Rebbe said, you have my father-in-law. The Rebbe said, but it's the way the Mittler Rebbe is nichlel in my father-in-law, said the Rebbe. So it's an unbelievable thing today to make a Fabringen, l'chaim, that the Fabringen should have a pool of all of us, and they should have a pool of begashmis, beruchnis, begashmis. Amen. So the story with Reb Zalman Zezmet. Yeah, not as bad as bourbon. I can noch leben. So he used to go around like a magid, kilos a magid. He go from town to town. It wasn't thing. It was magid, and he used to travel. It was a good magid. It was not like the magidim today that they have a secretary and they charge $5,000 an engagement. Talking thing. A Shabbaton is $7,000. Yeah. Those was not like those magidim. Oh, wow. So the kid said, if Zalman Zezmet goes from shul, city to city, and he goes from shul to shul, and he dresses up like a magid. He puts on a talis. He goes to the Mored Asre. He asks the shus, you have to get the Mored Asre to give you the shus. Reb Zalman Zezmet was a goin otzim. He was a rav in the city too. And the Rav would talk to him and learn. You see, okay, fine, you can give a drosha. If people like this drosha, and what's a Shabbos, people would give him some money, a couple of dollars. But he didn't do it for the money. He would come with a talis, dress up as if he's a magid, and a fakreden divrei chassidus, and then that was it. That's what he wanted. He came to Volozhin. Spoke to Reb Chaim. Reb Chaim was very impressed. Okay, could talk Shabbos in the big shul. Talmud Chochem could talk Shabbos in the big shul. It was this week. Vayishlach. He puts on his talis. He starts talking that there's netzutzas of kedusha that fall into this world, and Ayidas Mevar and netzutzas kedusha, and that's why it's in the world. Yaakov is every yid. Vayishlach malochim. He sends a netzutzas kedusha that he's mevar in this world. El Esav to the Rebbeinu Shalom, which is called Esav. Stuff. They took him down the bima. They were very careful. It was Shabbos, so they wouldn't hit him that blood shouldn't come out. But they hit him. They beat him up.
What did he say?
He said that Vayishlach Yaakov Malachim El Esav. Yaakov is the Yid and Esav is the Eibishter. He sent him Malachim. He sent him the Netzutzas of Kedusha. So Bekitza was a Mahuma. Reb Chaim comes into the shul and he sees they're beating up the Maggid. So what's going on? They told him, Pikoid is not Koifer. He said, the Eibishter is Esau. Reb Chaim said, okay, I have to talk to him private. Reb Chaim says, what happened? He said, but Zamayim Chazal, it says Befedish. So Reb Chaim says, wait a second. He was thinking maybe he Medrash Azoya. Maybe something he missed out. He's thinking. He says, Anschuldig Reb Yid, Nishto Azam Medrash. So Reb Zalman says, Befedish, Chazal says, Kol HaToyre Kula Shmoisa Shel HaKadosh Baruch. Every word in Torah is the Eibishter's name. So Kol HaToyre Kula. So Reb Chaim broke out in the laughter. He said, okay, you're right. He went out to this Kehillah. He said, they have to be mefatza the Magid. This Magid is going to Shkinkoifer and Apikoidis. They have to be mefatza, the Mephayasim for what they did. So, Zichar...
Did they let him speak weiter?
I don't know. Let him speak weiter.
Oh, yeah, you got...
I think it's a lice.
But he went out alive. He went out alive to tell the tale.
Like he said, that's probably enough. What he told him, that's probably good enough.
Yeah. Zichar, there has to be a hero in every parsha in the Torah, and this Torah is these parshas are very juicy. So let's do a beautiful sichas, and then two sichas actually. Usually now we're doing Tovshin Bei Sicha, but we're just breaking a little bit from what we're doing usually and do another sicha. Two sichas that Rebbe spoke on two different occasions are covered bar mitzvahs, something that we learned from this week's parsha. Basically, Chazal learned the inyan of a bar mitzvah that a person becomes a gadol at the age of 13 from the story of Shimon the Levi. So let's read just the Torah quickly, just the Chumash itself, and then we'll talk. We'll talk about this the sicha about the bar mitzvah. Taitz adin of Asleva shol the Yaakov leaders with nice oritz vayaros Shechem ben Chamor achiv in the oritz vayikachos vayishkavos vayanel. ותדבק נפשי בדינה בסייקה ויבס הנערה וידבר עליו הנערה ויאמר שכם אל אביו למה ככלס הילדה זו לאישה. So he steals the Dina and he violates her and now he wants to marry her too. ויעקב שמה כתינה אז דימה ביטוי ועוון אבוי מקנאו בסודה אז מקנאו בסודה איך שקב הבוים וייצא חמור אבישכם על יעקב לדבר איתו ובני יעקב בואו מהסודה כשמה ויסיעץ ונושם ויחל המאויד כנבוא לו עושה וישראל לישכב אז בס יעקב וכן לא יעושה. That it wasn't a done thing. Even the Umas Oilam were good themselves baroyas and they heard that such a terrible thing happened. They were really upset. So Chamor comes to talk to them. He give him as a wife, give him Dina as a wife. We'll marry into each other. Well, the land will be opened for you. Whatever you want, I'm going to do for you. They used mirma because they deserved it. They were metam dina. If you will agree to have a bris milah, we will agree for the shidduch. ונוסענו בנסינו לכם ואז בנסיכם ניקחלונה וישבנו איתכם והיינו לעמך והם לא ישמעו אלינו להימול ולקחנו את ביתנו והלכנו והיטיבו דבריהם בין החמור ובין שכם החמור. They agreed. ולאחר הנער לעשה דובר כחופץ בבס יעקב ונכבוד מכל בני סבב ויאבר חמור ושכם בנוי על שער עירם וידברו אל אנשי עירם לאמר הנושם האלה שלהם הם איתנו וישו וורץ ויסחר וישו וורץ הנה רחבס ידיים לפניהם as benoisem nikechlonu and lenoshim as benoiseinu nitalahem ach bezois yoislonu noshim l'shavas iton olis lamechet ve'moilon kol zochik shenem nemoilon. That's the deal, big deal. We just have to do a bris, and then it'll be really good for all of us. Mikneim v'kinyonim v'chal behemtem aloi lonohem ach neoisa lohem ve'yeshu itonu. Good old Middle Eastern bluff. It's all a good deal. It's really good. Vayishmu el chamoyer v'ashchem b'noi kol yoytze shariroi v'yemoil kol zocher kol yoytze shariroi v'hibay mashlishi v'yisem koyevim, that they were in pain the third day after the bris. Vayikchu shnei bnei Yaakov Shimon v'Levi achei Dina. The Shimon and Levi, who were called achei Dina because of the Mesiris Nefesh for Dina, ish charbei vayavoyu al ir betach vayargu kol zocher bes chamer v'ashchem b'noi horgu lefi chorev vayikchu es bina v'beishchem v'yitzeu bnei Yaakov b'al hachalolim vayavoyu v'ir asher timu achoisam v'tzoynim v'zbekorim v'schamerim v'skol shebir v'skol shebzod ha'makocho. Chazal say they were all complacent, they were all complicit in the crime. So Mamela, they were all killed and their belongings were taken. It's called Chelim, it's called Tapam, it's Nashem Shava, Vayavoizu, Vayis Kol Hashem Boys, Vayam Yaakov Shimon, Valevi Acharta Moisi Lavishen, Vayoshav Aretz, Beknalim Baprizi, Vanim Se Mispor, Venesfo Lai Vikunim in Ishmadati Ani Vaisi, Vayoimru Hachazoina Yasas Achazim. And that's the end of the parsha. In this story, Chazal say that from here we learn that the concept of a bar mitzvah, because it says that Vayhi v'yem hashlisha b'yosem koyev and v'yichu shnei bnei Yaakov Shimon v'Levi achei Dina Ish. They're called the Ish, and that's when they became bar mitzvah, and they're called Ish. So we learn that a person becomes chayiv in mitzvahs and he begets the title Ish.
You mean Shimon and Levi?
Yeah, Shimon and Levi, they were 13 years old and they killed the whole...
13, that's what Rashi says it. Rashi says in Nozer Daf Chavtes, and Rashi also says in Pirkei Avos. And from here we learn, the Rebbe once, not once but twice, asked the Shaila, and this was in the year before the Nasias, the Rebbe came to Simchas, he came to Bar Mitzvah.
It'll be interesting to know who did Bar Mitzvah.
Do you know that in the Borapak, the Chabad Shul, the Rebbe he went to a bris. Rabbi Rosenfeld tells us there was a son bris, and the Rebbe came, there was 2 Bar Mitzvahs, the Rebbe came, and both beautiful sichas the Rebbe spoke. And the first one the Rebbe asked, it's a dvar pella that we learn the whole inyan of a bar mitzvah. We say that it's a godel, it's a ben das. We say a child could also be a brilliant child, but a child doesn't have any das, we say. It doesn't understand the gravity of something, doesn't understand the yoiker of a mitzvah, how dangerous an aveda. Just like when it comes to money, a kid doesn't understand the yakros of... It could be a brilliant child. It could be someone that doesn't have the right. And with bar mitzvah comes das and becomes a chiva mitzvah. We learned this from where? Of a story of 2 guys. They take without the permission of their father, juliks, 13-year-old kids who take swords, and it seems that Yaakov was upset at them. He says, "Acharta moisi."
What do you mean it seems?
Huh?
What do you mean it seems?
It was not. It was.
He would murder the father's...
Right. So fragt sich the Shaila, why couldn't the Torah find a better place to tell me the halachas of bar and bas mitzvah? This is where the Torah tells it to me. The Rebbe, the Rebbe's answer is like this: that Emes, they had a lot of chisroinus, and Yaakov had tainus, and it was against Kibudov, and they were making decisions without asking Yaakov Avinu. But the bottom line is, Torah is made that they had Mesiris Nefesh. They were called Achei Dina because they had Mesiris Nefesh for them. So the Torah wants to tell us that the inyan of a bar mitzvah, when does a yid become a real bar mitzvah? When a yid is willing to take out a sword to protect another yid. When a yid is willing to go on Mesiris Nefesh for another yid, that's when you know he became a bar mitzvah. So this morning, the Olam was talking, an unbelievable story happened. There was a plane, an El Al flight. Somebody said a few crew members come late. It's like there was a story with 2 flights. We'll talk about the 1 flight that stopped in Athens. So, unbelievable. So someone was sitting here and said, "Oh, what a Chilul Hashem from people did."
Because he read it on the Fryev website.
Right, and there are people that said, "Lo dubim v'lo yar." People were saying they were on the plane. They were on the plane. They said there was not one from person, and not only that, they said that when they realized that the stewardess said, "You're going to lose if we go to take you back to the thing. You're going to lose your ticket. You're not rebooking." So not one person said any time. And says, "Okay, fine, but we don't want Michal Shabbos." It's fakert. People. It's a fault of the airlines. Now they're screaming at the people. And then what happened was they were supposed to leave at 8 o'clock. I think it's an 8 o'clock flight. 7 o'clock flight. New York. JFK to Tel Aviv.
The night of the snowstorm.
Thursday. I read about a flight that the chief rabbi gave them permission to...
That's the second flight.
There's another flight.
So it was the same night.
It was the same night.
They were also not going to land on Shabbos, but because there was a sick person that needed medical attention, they passed that they could go to Eretz Yisrael.
Everybody could go.
Right.
Even though people would be Machal Shabbos.
Right. Okay, but this was a flight coming from New York, and people wanted, but it was they said that El Al, a few crew members came late. There were things that were negligent on the side of El Al, according to many of the passengers. The bottom line is
they misled them.
They
told them first of all when they took off that they can make it. Then they told them that there's plenty of time.
And then they said if everyone gets back to their seats, we'll go back to the gate, and those people that want to get Shabbos,
And they took off.
They misled them. They lied to them.
Oh,
The people said we want to get off the plane.
Okay.
So the pilot got up on the PA system and said, if everyone sits down in their seats, we're going to bring the plane back to the terminal. Whoever wants to keep Shabbos can go off the plane, and that's it. Everyone went back to their seats.
And he took off.
And he took off. And when he was in the ear, and then he got on the PA system and said that the religious people are making a lot of trouble, and because of that we can't park ourselves in Tel Aviv, we can't land, so we're going to land in Athens, which is not true. He couldn't land in Israel if he wanted to.
You're not allowed to fly on Shabbos.
He can't fly in Shabbos. He couldn't land in anywhere in Ben Gurion Airport. But he wanted to make, that was a story.
And even the fry people didn't fall for it.
Yeah.
The Haaretz said that they were hitting the staff, and the staff was crying, and there were two eyewitnesses of the Lohayv year. One of them was Ketzelo, who was in the Israeli
politician.
What's his name? What is he?
Mishivet Betel and
Kids.
Yeah, he said, I saw my own eyes. No one was hurting anybody. They weren't doing anything wrong. They were just upset. They had a right to be upset.
Wow.
right. So they landed in Athens. So the shliach in Athens, Handel. So he organized. He handled it really nicely.
150 people he gave Shabbos.
He handled it.
4 o'clock.
5 hours.
He handled it really good. He organized for them the davenings and the meals, everything. And people said they had a great time. There was Litvish and Chassidish and modern Orthodox and Zionist. And it was Na'achtus, and it was a great Shabbos.
I want to be there.
Great Shabbos. Great Shabbos.
And what the media had to say.
And at the end, the people were talking to the shliach and asking him about his activities, and he said he just bought some dilapidated building, and he's trying to make a mikveh, but he needs money. So all the people there decided they're going to get together, and they're raising the funds. They told the shliach that the mikveh is paid for.
Wow.
The mikveh is paid for.
Maybe everything happened only for the mikvah.
And it's true.
Whoa.
You go to another place, another country.
It's unbelievable.
In other words, the snow in New York fill up the water.
Right. That's good.
It's unbelievable.
Wow. So the second one was
Yeah, the other ones. But what did we see here?
one in Rome.
That there was a shliach that he didn't. He just heard that there were Yidden that were landing in Athens, and he took it as his achrayus to take care of everything. The kid said to take care of that, and the emesis take was rewarded nicely. I mean, what? It's not a personal reward. He won the mikvahs building for Yidden that are in Athens, and this story is taking place in the days that are hachonas to Chanukah. Now, I tell you something. The shliach said that the hardest yom tov for him is Chanukah. He's very careful can never say that the Greeks were really bad. He says it was the Assyrians. It was the Assyrians. It was.
ISIS.
He says he has public menorah. He can never say the Greeks. What are the Greeks? The Greeks? These are the Greeks. Think of it.
Antiochus Melech Plishtim.
Yeah, exactly. He has to tweak the story.
I heard in the Israeli radio that one of the witnesses spoke, and he said, "We don't know we're going to land in Athens.
They did something.
You know the map in the
plane.
All of a sudden they see a map, and they say landing in a
Small
few
country.
hours. They didn't know nothing about it. They didn't tell them.
Right.
Hundreds of
That's why they're going to. That's why they're going to Israel.
Right.
It's huge, actually. There's more coastline than
This plane took off from New York to go to Israel on Friday.
No, Thursday night.
That was a storm.
Thursday when the big snow.
It was like 10:30 at night, so every 6.
So they went to Athens, so that was it. Everybody stayed over.
Everyone stayed in Athens.
And they've got...
And they didn't learn anything about our style.
What problem with Chilul Shabbat would there have been if they left off Thursday night?
Because it was light.
they-
It was
They
delayed.
told them to get to Israel 2 hours before Shabbat.
No.
No,
We
What
promise you.
Chilul Shabbos? What do you mean? What Chilul Shabbos will be?
6 o'clock. They took off
They would
10
land on
o'clock.
Shabbos. They were scared they're landing on
Wait a minute.
Shabbos.
They were going to left New York Thursday night.
So that,
and they were going to land.
so what are they
land
going
in
to
Israel
do?
on Friday-
So
on
let's do
Friday.
one thing at a time. Who opens who opens now the doors of the plane? Goyim or Jews?
No, I'm not talking about something else. I'm saying that if they were planning to land on Israel on Friday, they shouldn't have taken off in the first place.
Right.
So they didn't
That was
want
the
after
point.
the
So why did they get onto the plane?
because
No,
the plane got delayed. They got on the plane.
We're on the plane for
And they
5
were on
hours
the plane
before
for
it took off.
hours, 4 hours, I think.
When they first got on, what time? When did they first get on? What,
They got on at a certain time when, of course, if they had
Was a lot of time.
Thursday night. When they got on, there was ample time to get to Israel, take a taxi, and get home.
But they were
But
on the plane for
sitting
hours.
on the plane for many
Because the crew
hours.
didn't show up.
Okay, but I'm asking, when they got onto the plane on Thursday night, when would, assuming things would have gone everything to Tikkun, when would they have landed in Israel?
12 o'clock, middle of the day.
So I think personally,
got a GPS.
that's the case. They shouldn't have got onto the plane in the first place.
That's
Yeah,
the lesson to learn, that you don't leave
It's a good
from
lesson
New
to
York
learn.
Thursday night. Okay?
It's a
I
good-
mean, it's like there's something about
People
that
did it in the
quality.
summertime also.
It's a
After
good
what
lesson.
happened 2 years ago.
That's a
2
good
years
lesson
ago.
to learn.
The people had that's the timing to get the.
It's unbelievable, you know. It happens before Hanukkah, and it's Athens, and it's in this week's Pasha, where Shimon and Levi have Mesidas Nefesh for another Yid. That's where you become Bar Mitzvah. Okay, so now let's.
It was also a client who shechted all the slander.
Oh, yeah?
Ketzaleh.
Yeah, Katz.
When
It seemed like Dina was
Because he
very
on,
pretty
he's the one
girl.
who gave the interview
Shem
to
was
Arul
crazy
Sheva.
about her.
He owns
Yeah,
it.
I don't know,
he
you
said,
never know. Shem is
He
crazy.
said that about the
He said, I do everything they want
They were the
them
ones
to
who
take.
were shakir to try and make the Charedim look bad.
Oh, so he
I
said-
saw it. He said, well, I saw everything.
Wait, he was the shochet on
He
the
was-
plane.
No.
No,
He's saying he's killed the story. They
Oh,
tried
yeah,
to make a story
sorry.
against the
Like
Torah.
the Avant, like the Shmeina.
Okay, Sikha number 1. Now Sikha number 2. The Rebbe said the Sikha was Schollenberg Gadetsky's bar mitzvah. It was the middle of Tammuz. So the Rebbe says there's Ma'emes HaMachloikis where we learn. One opinion holds we learn it from Shimon Valevi. The other opinion we learn it from Allah Moshe Messina. Rashi brings both opinions in Pirkei Avos, and a lot of the Rishonim talk about this. What's the nafkamina where we learn it? The Rebbe says l'choyer it's a very big difference. It's also nafkamina in halacha. If you say we learn it from Shimon Valevi, so we're saying that Torah is telling us a story. When does a person become mature and responsible? When does a person have das? At the age of 13. If it's alocha l'moshe Messina, do we know shiurim? The Gemara says many times shiurim alocha l'moshe Messina. What's an afkamina? An afkamina l'chayr would be very simple. The poskim ask, when does a goy become bar and bas mitzvah? A goy. When does a goy celebrate his bar mitzvah?
16.
Huh? No, it doesn't.
Sweet 16, no? Wasn't
It's Sheva mitzvahs.
Sweet 16.
When does there's a big tshuva from the Chassam Sofer? When does a goy become bar mitzvah?
Sweet 16, no?
Huh? When does he hire out? When does he get to have a DJ and v'chulu v'chulu?
Sweet 16. That's how
Sweet 16?
That's
Okay.
how they do it.
So Memes is a shaila.
Boys.
I don't know.
So the
boy.
shaila is the Rebbe says simple. If you say,
It's just a stupid minute, by the way.
yeah. If you say it's Allah Moshe Sinai, we know in the Gemara is a klal, Loi nitnu lishur and el lisrol. All the shur and Allah Moshe Sinai is only applied to Jews. It doesn't apply to goyim. So when does a goy become bar mitzvah? You have to send him to a psychologist, and when the psychologist gives him a shtickle papir, this guy has enough das. Okay, now we know it's a bar das. Everyone's different. I don't know.
When you say bar mitzvah, what? I mean, for the Zion mitzvahs?
For the Zion mitzvahs, right. When does it become punished for the Zion mitzvahs? So that's what.
When is he mechuyev in chinuch? When does his father have to chinuch?
When does the father chayachim? When does the chinuch stop? I mean, that's a shiloh. Mashiach is going to come. There's going to be botei dinim. We're going to have to answer this question.
But until then, we won't know.
Till then, we're going to have to. No, there's a truth of some sofer. He has a sofer.
It's a pellet.
Yeah. And the Rebbe says
the Rebbe sends the mishluchim to do Zion mitzvahs. So he didn't.
We're not punishing. Well, listen, we're not punishing them.
No, I'm saying, but what if they ask?
So we're going to have to tell them the honest truth. We don't know.
So do it as chumrah, you're saying.
Right. We don't know. We
have to
don't know.
convert.
The Rebbe says that the other tzad, if you say that we learn from Shimon and Levi, and even before Matan Torah, so it's mistaba that it applies to a goy. The Torah is telling us when a person becomes mature. If it's Allah Moshe Sinai, shiurim Allah Moshe Sinai is only for Yidden, it's not for goyim. But if you say it's from Shimon and Levi, it's a l'chayda, you can learn from for goyim too. It's a miltzah de mistaba. So the Rebbe says, Navodas Hashem, you could say also this way. If it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, it's halacha in the Kabbalah. That's a Kabbalah soil. That means that the yisoid of a bar mitzvah is accepting the oil malchus shamayim. If you say that it is a dover shel svara, we learn it out that that's the teva when a person becomes mature. So then, what does bar mitzvah mean? That's the day when a child starts feeling badas, maloshen hakora, v'argosha. This explains what das is. The yoiker of Torah mitzvahs. So really, the machloikis arishonim, where we learn. If we learn it from Shimon Levi, we learn halacha Moshe Sinai is really a machlokas. What's the yisoid of the bar mitzvah? It's halacha Moshe Sinai, which is Kabbalah's oil, or there is yak. I understand the tayarkeit and the geschmack of Torah mitzvahs. The Rebbe says like this: Monavshich. It doesn't matter how you learn. Either way, but the yisoid hayisoidus has to be mesiras nefesh. Even according to the pshat that is because the pasuk says vayikchu ish charbay. Even if you say that it avodas Hashem, it's tam vadas, we learn it for Shimon Levi. But what did Shimon Levi do? What was the first thing they did? Like we said before, they had mesiras nefesh. Even if you say that the first step in avodas Hashem is tam vadas, but the yisoid is charbay, which is mesiras nefesh.
There's a pella though. I mean, first of all, their older brothers didn't go. Reuven didn't go. So Shimon Levi and Yehuda didn't go. And also, why would the Torah teach us something where they did an Aveda?
Right, but the emphasis that we see that these two had special schus, they were kanoim.
They sold Yosef, and they did other things too.
View is the same story.
But Lepoil, the Torah is made.
Twice they were made that they did the wrong thing.
Right, of course, true. But they had what there was here an Indian of mesiras nefesh in their part. Because the Torah says that they had mesiras nefesh for their sister. So, emesis that could have been that there were mistakes, but Lepoil, they had mesiras nefesh.
So it was felt that Yaakov didn't have mesiras nefesh for his daughter.
No, Yaakov got upset.
Yaakov
says only the brothers were upset. It didn't say Vayichal Yaakov.
Right. That's taka guta kasha. That's taka kasha.
What I'm saying was something felt in the
but the emesis that we say, the Chazal does say that once they had mesiras nefesh, first of all, Rashi says it that they were batuchim b'koichu shel zoken, and the Bereshis Rebbe and a lot of the Midrashim say that as soon as they started, that Shimon Levi started, the brothers later came into the city Vayavozu, and then the Medrash says Yaakov in himself, because it says later Shalakachti bi'adamayri b'charvi b'kashti. So okay, the Zoya says, but Tzloisi, Bavahusi, we learn it all the Maimonides Siddur, but the Medrash Rebbe says no. After he saw what his sons did, he was chogar, he chogar himself, and he put a big sword, and he said, anyone wants to start up with my sons, you'll have to start up with me first.
Outside nations, right? Because he had already killed all the
but he got into the action.
Because he was afraid, that's the reason why he was afraid in the first place.
The neighbor,
because he said, the Medrash because he said that the haftacha that they would get was only when Hashem would give it to them.
Okay,
He
but
wasn't going to be able to take it by sword.
but he did get in on the action.
He had no choice.
He had no choice.
Were you ever able to me say that there are two criteria for becoming a bar mitzvah, which don't seem to? There's one at the Shlosh Shana, another one is Shetei Sa'arot.
No, so you're asking a shaila. You're not asking. You're asking a shaila. You're saying Chazal say we're learning from Shimon V'Levi.
Yeah.
L'chayda does anyway. You need to have simonim. So you're asking a shaila. You're not giving a teretz.
No, but it seems to be they're
Talking about men, the women.
No, he's
girl
talking
has
about
to
the
have
dash.
Man has to have cyrus.
Yeah, for sure. Yes,
To be a bar mitzvah, you can't get
yes,
one that's
yeah. The only difference is that a girl, from when she has shtei sidus, she's a naida for 6 chodoshim until she becomes a begeris, and a boy, it's nothing. It just without the shtei sidus,
There's no chiyuv.
without the shtei sidus, he's not a godel.
even if he is.
So the father has to check.
Right.
Today, the father has to check.
Yeah, Shmulik has an unbelievable story about the Chazon Ish.
Ashkenazi, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the story?
It was Erev Pesach. The only mafiach matzot, the only bakery make matzahs was in Tel Aviv by Chabad. So people from want to make matzahs, so then just need to go to Tel Aviv to the Chabad bakery. So there was one boch over there, looked very young. It was bar mitzvah, but looked very young. So Chazon Ish looked at him and says, Chob Meir is not a bar mitzvah yet. No, he said, no, he's bar mitzvah. I said, you have to check if he's godel or not. Let's take him to a room and check. Take off his pants and check if he's godel. So he came outside and said, he's a godel, he's a godel.
So
That's Tonarishan. Those are Tonarishan.
Aleph.
It should work in the opposite direction also. Let's say he has Shtei Sarot, but he's not 13 years old.
No, but that's called a Shuma B'Alma.
Oh, okay, not necessarily.
That's called a Shuma B'Alma.
There's a kasha about that from Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech begat Rechavam when he was 12 years old.
And it's just called the thing
So obviously he was sexually mature at that time when he was 12 years old.
Okay, so I mean, the truth is a child from 9 years old, the biosebia, there is a certain type of maturity that happens from nine. That's why biosebia from 9. I guess there's a certain. It starts from the age of 9, but fully develops at the age of 13. The emphasis you're asking a good question. I'm glad there's a kasha because it's the Chazal do say that in the days of old that people used to grow here at a younger age. So Takim Meforshim ask what's okay. Anyway, but
Well, different. Rivka and Maine was 3 years old.
yeah,
at that time.
exactly.
There was a
But
whole
it's-
different. There were all different.
So what do they say? These
If you say the tzad,
They don't. They have a kasha taka. They say.
Same kasha.
if you say
Yeah.
the serious nefesh is tied to the whole Indian, then Goyim don't have the serious nefesh.
So 1 second. So the Rebbe brings that eye. We see push the pasuk. The pasuk says Reina Satel V'Nachayim Esachayim Esateves B'Charta B'Chaim. On the one hand, it's a command B'Charta B'Chaim, and the other hand, the Eibishter wants that every Yid should see that this is Chaim V'Toiv and this is Mavaz V'Ra. Why? Because on the one hand, the Eibishter wants that a Yid should do it because as an Evid, as a Avodas Evid, B'Charta, because the Eibishter says to be Boicher. On the other hand, once a Yid is Boicher, the Eibishter wants that the Yid should really see that this is Chaim V'Toiv and the other thing is Mavaz V'Ra. So the same thing here, even if you say that the Yesod of the Avodas Hashem is Tam V'Das, it's to have a high hergish and the beauty of Torah mitzvahs, but the foundation for that has to be Kabbalah Sel Malchus Shamayim. So that's why the Rebbe says we find an unbelievable thing that all the Maimorim that the Rabbi Hussein used to say in honor bar mitzvah usually started with the pasuk Nasa Odom B'Tzalmeinu Kedvoseinu. Meloshin Odom. Chazal has said that there's 4 levels in a person. There's Gever, Enosh, Ish, and Odom. So a person bar mitzvah l'choda goes up from Enosh, Gever to the level of Ish, but still with the Maimorim talk about Odom. Nasa Odom Ketzalmeinu. Why Odom? Because on the one hand, Odom is higher than Ish. Ish is like the Seichel that's connected to Midas, and Odom is abstract Seichel, the Koyach HaSeichel that's abstract. However, there's another pshat in Odom. If you turn around the oasis of Odom, it's Ma'oid. Ma'oid. What's Ma'oid? Ma'oid is bligvul, Mesiris Nefesh. Ma'oid is Mesiris Nefesh. That a Yid has the koyach of Mesiris Nefesh. And we say that a Yid has to have both milas, Odom and Ish. It's not, if a person has just Mesiris Nefesh, it's not good enough. A person has to have that Avodas Hashem also seeps into his seichel and his rotzen. He enjoys it and he likes it and he has pleasure in it and he feels it and he understands it. The Eibusha wants it shouldn't only be Mesiris Nefesh. On the other hand, if you only have seichel and understanding and appreciation, that's also not good. It has to be with Mesiris Nefesh, has to have both milas. That's why, even though the Chayr Bar Mitzvah is v'chazakta v'yisal ish, usually the Maimorim, when they put on film, used to be v'chazakta v'yisal ish, and the Bar Mitzvah used to be Nasa Odom, because the first level is Ish, and the higher level is Odom. Because even though the emes is that Bar Mitzvah is connected with Ish, Vayikhu Ish, but it's also connected with Charbay, with Mesiris Nefesh. And Mesiris Nefesh is the union of Odom. Odom is the union of Ma'oid. Ma'oid. That the koyach of Mesiris Nefesh. And that's the Yesod of Avodas Hashem. Even if you say that Avodas Hashem is that he has das, starts to understand and appreciate a lakus, and that's important, and it should be that way. But it has to be that the Yesodus is of Yiddishkeit is, how does a Yid become a Bar Mitzvah? A Bar Mitzvah has to be that even though it's Ish, it has to be Charbay, have Mesiris Nefesh. And when a Yid takes upon himself the Koyach of Mesiris Nefesh, with this is Zoichet to the union of Ma'oid. Ma'oid is Bligvul. Vayifritz Ish Ma'oid Ma'oid. And Ma'oid is also about Mashiach Tzidkenu. It says Yorim V'nissa V'gova Ma'oid. So Rebbe shall help from Take that from this Parsha we should all go to the Darga of Ma'oid.
Helping right up to the part I wanted to ask him. It says, "Yasi ish kasher Omar Yosef, Yehova ish es Anosh Meis Yosef." This is Ephraim Menashe. You know that they weren't even 10 years old. The Torah calls them ish.
The Torah calls them ish. Get the kasha. Get the
They were
kasha.
very special.
The Medrash says they were kids
Right.
because it couldn't have been because they had. He waited 7 years for the Shnas HaRav. It's also the Bim Shas Chazal said. Then the Chazal said, and then they were born, and then they came down. He was only in Mitzrayim for a certain amount of years that they couldn't have been more than 8 years old.
So meaning,
Right.
by
So why were
8
they
years old,
called
they
Ish?
already had
Very
Mesiris
close.
Nefesh?
I think they already had 3
Right,
sorrows.
because they already had Mesiris Nefesh? Why before
No,
Ish?
because they weren't yet. We are learning out the yet.
Don't forget,
mitzvah,
they
then
were
you
very
call Ish.
strong.
We see here that the
The
Let's be part of
Ephraim
Bishal.
Menashe calls
Youth
Ephraim
Kislev.
Menashe ish.
Yeah.
The Alter Rebbe also started to learn when he was underage.
What's the name from the Metal Rebbe?
One of the reasons
let's start
also
with
the
the
Yaakov
Rebbe's nigga
Avinu-
Saying this morning.
No, not the Juritza. He wants the Capella.
No.
Yeah.